Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, chosen ones. Let me remind you of something powerful. A diamond doesn't beg to be admired. It shines unapologetically, whether it's held or ignored. You are that diamond. They had their chance, and they threw it away like a fool who tossed gold into the fire, hoping it'd still be there in the ashes. Spoiler, it won't. Listen closely. The very power you carry, the light that radiates from your spirit, haunts those who underestimated you. Your presence was their lifeline, their secret weapon, the thing that kept their world from falling apart. But they didn't see it. Or worse, they saw it and still thought they could replace you. Now they're drowning in regret, haunted by your absence, because they didn't just lose someone, they lost you, the irreplaceable. Here's the reality, chosen ones. Regret is cheap currency. It's the counterfeit apology of the selfish. When they come knocking again, trying to make things right, they're not coming for you. They're coming for the perks of having access to you. They're coming for the energy you poured into them, the love you gave freely, and the strength they drained from you. But guess what? You're not a refillable well. You're a divine source, and they've run out of access. Period. Don't get it twisted. Your worth doesn't depend on anyone's recognition. You were chosen for a reason. Chosen to rise, to shine, to lead. And every step you take forward without them will only amplify their regret. Their cries for a second chance will be drowned out by the sound of your unstoppable momentum. Keep moving. Keep shining. Let them choke on the dust of your progress. And here's the kicker. Letting them back into your life isn't an act of kindness. It's self-sabotage. They didn't cherish you when you were within reach. Why would they treat you any differently now? A scorpion doesn't change its sting just because it regrets the last bite. Don't be fooled by pretty words and empty promises. Let them live with the consequences of losing you. You don't let a snake back into your garden and expect it to stop biting. Remember that. Let your boundaries be your armor and your absence be the lesson they never forget. If this is hitting your spirit right now, it's because you know the truth deep down. You're chosen for something bigger, something greater, and not everyone gets to come along for the ride. Keep building, thriving, and walking in your purpose. Their regret? That's just the universe's way of showing you the impact you made. But let's be clear, their regret isn't your problem. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This channel is your safe space, your guide, and your reminder of who you truly are. Don't miss a second of what's coming, because I promise it's your time to rise. Chosen ones, let this be your mantra. Not everyone deserves to experience the afterglow of my light. That glow is yours now. It's your legacy, your power, and your proof that you're untouchable. Keep shining and let them regret from a distance. You've got better things to do, like changing the game and owning your destiny. And to you, the one who knows deep down you're chosen, thank you for being here. Whether you're new to this journey or a loyal soul walking this path with us, your energy fuels this movement. If you're ready to own your worth, leave the past behind and watch those who underestimated you regret it from the sidelines. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a number 77 in the comments to claim your power. Believe me, if you're a true chosen one, you won't want to miss a second of what's next. And now, let's break this down step by step. Stick with me until the end. It's time to rise. Let's get into it. Number 1. When they lose the sun, they finally miss its light. A fool never knows the worth of gold until their hands are empty and their pockets echo with regret. Chosen ones, let's get real. They didn't lose just anyone. they lost the irreplaceable you. They didn't just lose a person, they lost a force, a storm and a sanctuary all in one. You were their light in the darkness, their answer to chaos, the calm that softened their storms. But here's the truth. Not everyone knows how to value a light until they're left standing in the cold, pitch black. And when the cold creeps in, they'll realize they weren't just losing warmth, they were losing the sun. You gave them access to the rarest kind of energy, the kind that can't be bought, can't be replaced, and definitely can't be found again once it's gone. But let's not sugarcoat it. They took you for granted. They thought your loyalty was a guarantee. They assumed your kindness was their right. They believed you'd keep answering their calls, showing up to patch their wounds, and sacrificing yourself to keep them standing. But what did they do in return? Nothing. Worse than nothing, they drained you. They siphoned your strength like thieves in the night, leaving you depleted while they feasted on the fruits of your spirit. They didn't think twice about what they had, because they didn't believe it could ever be taken away. And now they sit in the shadow of their own choices, haunted by your absence. The emptiness they feel isn't just loneliness, it's the realization that no one else carries what you carried. They're out here searching for a version of you in other people, only to find pale imitations. Why? Because you can't duplicate the divine. But let me remind you of something critical. Their regret is not a compliment. Regret is the emotional graveyard where they bury their guilt. And their sudden realization of your worth isn't growth, it's desperation. They're not mourning the loss of you, the person. They're mourning the loss of your benefits. They miss your energy, your solutions, your unwavering presence. But here's the kicker, they don't miss you. They'll try to crawl back into your life with words dipped in honey, talking about seeing the light and appreciating you now. Don't buy it. A snake that sheds its skin is still a snake. They haven't changed. They've just realized the luxury of having you around, and they want it back. It's not about love or respect. It's about convenience. And let me answer the question that might be lingering in your mind. But what if they've truly changed? Chosen ones, if they didn't value the gold when they held it, why would they treat it differently now? People don't suddenly grow into what you deserve. They only grow bitter when they lose what they never deserved in the first place. Let them stew in their regret. It's not your job to hand out second chances to those who squandered the first. They had access to you, the most powerful, unshakable energy, and they fumbled it like amateurs. Now they'll spend their days trying to fill a void that only your presence could satisfy. And that's not your problem. You have something far more valuable than their late recognition: the power of being chosen. You were chosen to rise above, to carry a light so brilliant it exposes the cracks in people who can't handle it. Your existence serves as both a blessing and a reminder, blessing those who respect your energy and reminding those who didn't that they can never have it again. So, should you let them back in? Absolutely not. They didn't respect the sun when it shone on them, so let them freeze in the dark. Let their regret be the heavy chain they carry while you soar higher, shining brighter than ever before. You are not their lesson to relearn. You are their lesson to live with. Keep moving forward, chosen ones. Let your glow blind them from a distance while you walk into your destiny, untouched by their desperation. They'll watch you rise, powerless to follow. And that, right there, is the sweetest justice of all. Number 2. You were the fire that kept them warm. Now they're left in the cold. A leech doesn't mourn the host. It mourns the loss of its meal. Chosen ones, let me speak to your soul. You were their lifeline, their secret weapon, the unseen force keeping their world intact. When you walked into their lives, you didn't just show up. You brought light to their darkest corners, warmth to their coldest days, and energy to their lifeless routines. Your presence wasn't ordinary, it was transformational. You weren't just there. You carried them. But here's the bitter truth they'll never admit. They didn't see you as the miracle you were. They didn't respect the fire that kept their life burning. They only noticed its absence when it went out. Now that you're gone, they're shivering in the dark, scrambling to figure out how to survive without the energy you so freely gave. You see, most people don't understand the depth of their dependence until the well runs dry. They didn't just drink from your well, they drained it. They leaned on your strength, soaked up your encouragement, and fed off the stability you provided without ever stopping to consider the cost. They assumed your energy was infinite, your love unshakable, and your presence guaranteed. And now, they're depleted. Their world feels colder, darker, and emptier without you in it. They don't know how to rebuild what they lost, because, truth be told, they were never building in the first place. You were doing it for them. That's why they're desperate to come back. Not because they love you, not because they respect you, but because they miss the benefits of you. Let me make this clear. Their desperation isn't a compliment. It's a confession. It reveals that they were never truly standing on their own 2 feet. They were leaning on you the entire time. And now that you're no longer there to carry the load, they're crumbling under the weight of their own emptiness. But here's what you need to understand. You are not their backup generator. You are not their endless reservoir of strength. You were never meant to be the crutch for people unwilling to learn how to walk on their own. Your energy is sacred, and it's not your responsibility to keep refilling those who refuse to sustain themselves. Think of your energy like a fire. Fires are powerful, but they're not infinite. If someone stands too close for too long without feeding the flame, it begins to dim. You gave them the fire that kept their world alive, but they never thought to add wood. They didn't protect your flame. They just stood there, soaking up the heat until there was nothing left. And now they're cold, begging to come back, asking you to reignite what they let die. But here's the truth. Chosen ones, if they couldn't protect your flame the first time, they'll only extinguish it again. You cannot let them back in. When you were in their life, you carried the weight of 2 people. You gave without limits, supported without hesitation, and poured yourself out until there was almost nothing left. And for what? To be taken for granted, to be used like a battery they could discard once drained. No, that's not your purpose. You weren't chosen to be someone else's endless power source. You were chosen to light the path for yourself and those who genuinely respect your energy. Let them feel the cold. Let them stumble in the dark. Let their regret be the fire they never learned to build for themselves. Because here's the secret. People only value what they can't have. And now that they know they've lost access to you, they'll finally realize what they had. But it's too late. That door is closed. So, if they try to come back, remember this. Their need for you is not love. Their desperation is not respect. They don't want to lift you up. They want you to keep carrying them while they weigh you down. Don't let them mistake your light for weakness. Chosen ones, protect your energy. Let their regret be the lesson they carry while you move forward unburdened. You've got greater things ahead, things they were never meant to be part of. Keep your fire burning for those who deserve it, and leave the leeches to fend for themselves in the cold. You're not their savior, you're your own. Let them regret losing you while you rise higher than they ever imagined. Number 3. Their regret is a mirror of their loss, not a reflection of you. A thief doesn't regret the theft, only the treasure they can no longer hold. Chosen ones, let me set the record straight. When they say they regret losing you, don't be fooled into thinking it's because of who you are. Their regret has nothing to do with your soul, your heart, or your essence. It has everything to do with their own selfish loss. They don't miss you. They miss the comfort, the stability, and the benefits you brought into their life. You were their anchor in a storm, their lighthouse in the fog, the quiet strength they leaned on when their world felt chaotic. But instead of cherishing that, they treated you like an unending resource. Your love, taken for granted. Your time, consumed without gratitude. Your energy, drained without thought. And now that you're gone, their world feels unstable, lonely, and unbearably hard. That's not love. They're mourning the loss of convenience. Here's the truth that might sting, but will set you free. If they truly valued you as a person, they would never have treated you as disposable in the first place. They wouldn't have ignored your needs, disrespected your boundaries, or assumed you'd always be there no matter how carelessly they acted. But they did. And now that you've walked away, they're scrambling to rewrite the narrative, painting their regret as love or realization. But what are they really realizing? Not your worth, but their loss. They're realizing how much harder life is without your wisdom, your encouragement, and your unwavering support. It's like a parasite, realizing it's lost its host. It's not mourning you, it's mourning its own survival. Don't let their words fool you. Their regret doesn't come from a place of growth, self-awareness, or genuine change. It comes from their inability to adapt without you. They're not upset because they've come to understand the depth of your value. They're upset because they've lost the advantages of your presence. They don't regret hurting you. They regret losing the benefits of having you around. And here's the kicker. Regret without growth is worthless. If someone regrets losing you but hasn't done the work to change their behavior, what's really different? Nothing. They'll come back with sweet words, apologies dipped in honey, and promises of a better future. But pay attention to their actions, because words can be empty, and promises can be hollow. If they didn't respect you when they had access, why would they respect you now? Think about it. If someone didn't see your value when you were giving them everything, what's going to change now that you've reclaimed your power? Nothing. They'll fall back into the same toxic patterns, treating you like an option instead of a priority, because they've already shown you who they are. Chosen ones, this is not your burden to carry. You are not responsible for healing their wounds, soothing their regret, or filling the void they created when they took you for granted. Their regret is not your problem, it's their lesson. Let them sit with the weight of their choices. Let them learn the hard way that when you lose access to something extraordinary, you don't get a second chance. Here's what you need to remember. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not for the benefits you provide. You are not a service, a stepping stone, or a safety net for people who can't stand on their own 2 feet. Your worth is not tied to how much you can give, how much you can fix, or how much you can sacrifice. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is close the door and lock it behind you. Their regret isn't your cue to let them back in. It's the universe confirming that you made the right choice. Let them feel the emptiness of a life without you. Let them face the consequences of their actions. And if you ever doubt yourself, remember this. People only regret what they lose when they finally realize it's irreplaceable. But by then, it's too late. Let their regret be their burden to carry, not your invitation to return. You're not here to be an option in someone else's life. You're here to shine, thrive, and walk in your power without looking back. So, let them regret losing you while you rise to new heights. They had their chance, and they blew it. Your journey forward doesn't include them, and that's the ultimate justice. Number 4, they want the perks without paying the price. Everyone wants the treasure, but few are willing to dig for it. Chosen ones, listen closely. When they regret losing you, it's not because they've suddenly become better or seen the error of their ways. It's because they miss what you brought to their life, your light, your wisdom, your loyalty, but they don't want to put in the work to deserve it. They're not here to match your effort. They just want access to the benefits you provide without the responsibility of rising to your level. You are rare, and that rarity draws people in. You uplift, you inspire, you make people feel seen and valued in ways they've never experienced before. Your energy is magnetic, your presence powerful. But let's get real. Relationships, whether friendships, family connections, or partnerships, are not one-way streets. Your effort isn't meant to be poured out without reciprocity. Yet, the same people who claim to regret losing you are often the ones who refuse to give back what you so freely gave. They want to come back, but not because they've changed. They show up with empty words and vague apologies, hoping you'll mistake their regret for growth. But regret without effort is just manipulation in disguise. They're hoping you'll be so moved by their sudden attention that you'll overlook the truth. They haven't done the work to deserve you. And here's the hard truth. Mediocrity isn't just about laziness, it's about entitlement. They believe they can waltz back into your life and pick up where they left off without addressing the very behaviors that caused the fallout. They're still operating with the same mindset, the same unwillingness to evolve, and the same half-hearted effort that drained you before. But you've changed. You've grown. You've set higher standards because you've realized your worth. Letting them back in would mean lowering those standards, compromising the new level of self-respect you've built. And for what? So they can offer the bare minimum while benefiting from everything you bring to the table. Chosen ones, this is where you hold the line. If they want access to you, they need to rise to your level. They need to prove, through consistent effort and genuine growth, that they're worthy of your presence. And if they can't, that door stays closed. You're not here to carry people who refuse to walk on their own. You're not here to accept mediocrity disguised as love or friendship. Your energy is too precious, too powerful, and too rare to be wasted on those who won't meet you where you are. Remember this: those who truly value you won't need to be convinced to rise to your standards. They'll do it willingly. Let their regret be their burden, not your invitation to settle. Keep moving forward, keep growing, and keep shining. Those who truly deserve you will match your energy without excuses. Everyone else can stay behind, watching from a distance, regretting what they'll never have again. Number 5. You're a lifeline, not a free ride. Not everyone deserves to climb with you. Don't let someone who's comfortable crawling hold you back from soaring. Chosen ones, let's be clear about something. Your energy is rare. You're not just another person passing through someone's life. You're a force. Your presence alone uplifts, motivates, and inspires those around you. You see potential where others see obstacles, and your belief in people can ignite fires they didn't even know they had. But here's the hard truth. Not everyone deserves the elevation you bring. Some people are drawn to your light, not because they admire it, but because they want to use it. They see your generosity and willingness to help as a resource they can exploit. To them, your kindness is a never-ending well they can drink from without ever thinking to refill it. They're not here to grow alongside you. They're here to hitch a free ride on the rocket you've built through your hard work and resilience. These people don't want to do the work, take the risks, or face the challenges it takes to rise. They're content with staying stagnant, but they'll latch onto you like anchors, hoping you'll carry them while they contribute the bare minimum. They're not your teammates, they're passengers, and while you're busy climbing, they're secretly weighing you down. Letting these people stay in your life doesn't just drain your energy, it sabotages your progress. Every time you lower your standards to accommodate someone who doesn't align with your vision, you betray the greatness you're destined for. You've worked too hard, sacrificed too much, and grown too far to let someone who's unwilling to meet you halfway drag you back to where you started. Here's the truth you need to embrace. Not everyone is meant to join you on your journey. Elevation isn't just about how high you rise, it's about who you allow to rise with you. The people who truly deserve a place in your life are those who match your energy, your effort, and your vision. They don't just benefit from your success, they contribute to it. They lift as they climb, just like you do. Stop feeling guilty for leaving people behind. You're not abandoning them, you're choosing yourself. And sometimes, the best way to love someone is to let them figure out their own path without leaning on yours. If they're meant to meet you at the top, they'll do the work to get there on their own. Your energy is sacred, chosen ones. Save it for those who respect it, cherish it, and reciprocate it. Stop giving rides to people who refuse to put gas in the tank. You are not responsible for carrying those who refuse to stand on their own. Remember, not everyone deserves the gift of access to you, and that's not selfish, it's wisdom. Keep climbing, keep shining, and let those who aren't ready to rise stay where they are. Your journey is yours, and it's not meant for everyone. Choose yourself, and watch your life elevate even higher. Number 6. They'll search the world and still never find another you. You don't replace the ocean by finding a puddle. Chosen ones, let's get one thing straight. They thought they could move on and find someone else to fill the void you left. They thought they could walk away from your energy, your love, your unmatched essence, and find it replicated somewhere else. But reality doesn't work that way. And now they're realizing the painful truth. You're irreplaceable. Your uniqueness isn't just in the way you loved, cared, and supported them. It's in your essence, your soul, and the way you carried yourself. You're not just someone. You're the blueprint. You brought a depth of understanding, a strength of character, and a warmth of spirit that doesn't show up twice. They might have convinced themselves that someone else could give them what you gave, but as they try to fill the space you left behind, all they're finding are empty echoes. Here's the thing. They took you for granted because they thought what you offered was common. They assumed they could treat you as disposable, and if you walked away, someone else would step in to play the role. But you were never playing a role. You were being you. And now that you're gone, they're discovering the hard way that people like you don't just appear out of nowhere. This is the bitter taste of their regret. It's not just about losing someone. They've lost the irreplaceable. And while they wander, searching for a pale imitation of the light you brought into their life, all they're left with is disappointment. Every new connection feels shallow compared to the depth you offered. Every person they meet is a reminder of what they had and lost. But here's the truth, chosen ones. Their regret isn't your problem. It's not a sign of their growth, nor is it proof they've learned to value you. Regret, more often than not, is selfish. It's rooted in their pain, not in their love for you. They're not crying over your happiness or growth. They're crying because they can't replace what you brought to their life. So, when they come back, and believe me, they will, don't let their regret sway you. Their inability to find someone like you isn't a sign of change. It's a reflection of their loss. They didn't appreciate you when they had access, and that won't magically shift just because they've realized no one else measures up. You're not a fallback option. You're not a second chance for someone who didn't see your value the first time. Let them keep searching while you thrive. Surround yourself with people who recognize your worth without needing to lose you to understand it. Remember this, chosen ones. The fact that they can't replace you isn't your burden to bear. It's their lesson to live with. Let their regret be the price they pay for underestimating you. Keep moving forward, unshaken, because you are and always will be one of a kind. Number 7. Their apology is just a bandage on the same old wound. An apology without change is just manipulation in disguise. Chosen ones, let's call it what it is. Their apology isn't a revelation, it's a reaction, a reflex, a desperate attempt to get back what they've lost. The words might sound sweet, rehearsed even, but don't be fooled by their surface-level sincerity. An "I'm sorry" that isn't backed by real growth is as empty as a hollow tree. It looks sturdy, but it will crumble the moment you lean on it. Saying the words is easy. Anyone can do it. But where was that concern, that remorse when you were in the trenches, holding them up, giving them chances they didn't deserve? Where was their apology when you needed it most? Words are cheap, but actions, those require effort, change, and accountability. And here's the question you need to ask yourself. If they didn't respect you when they had access to you, why would they change now? The harsh truth is this: people are creatures of habit. Unless they've done the work, the deep, uncomfortable, soul-wrenching work of confronting their flaws, they're bound to fall right back into the same toxic patterns. Their apology is just a pause button, a way to hit reset and regain your trust. But once they feel secure in your forgiveness, the cracks will show. The same dismissiveness, the same disregard for your boundaries, the same lack of effort that drove you to walk away in the first place. Their regret doesn't come from a place of love or transformation. It comes from the discomfort of losing you. It's not about wanting to do better, it's about wanting their comfort back. They miss the benefits of having you around, not the responsibility of treating you with the respect and care you deserve. Let me be clear. Letting them back into your life without proof of sustained change is an invitation to repeat the same cycle. You'll find yourself in the same place, nursing the same wounds, wondering why you gave them another chance. And guess what? That's exactly what they're counting on. That your heart will override your better judgment, that your kindness will lead you to reopen a door you locked for a reason. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. You are not here to fix people who refuse to fix themselves. You are not a rehabilitation center for broken patterns. If they truly value you, they'll do the work, not just talk about it. They'll show you through consistent actions, not hollow promises. And if they're not willing to do that, that's your answer. Don't let their regret cloud your judgment. Don't let guilt convince you to settle for less than you deserve. Stand firm, chosen ones. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is let them feel the full weight of their choices. Let their regret be their burden, not your responsibility. If they haven't changed their patterns, the outcome will never change. walk away, and walk forward. Your power is in your refusal to repeat the past. Number 8. You're not the crutch for their insecurities. The same hands that pull you up when they're drowning will push you under when they've learned to swim. Chosen ones, let's be real. They didn't come to you because they cherished you. They came to you because you were their lifeline, their fixer, the only one who could hold them together when their world was falling apart. You carried their burdens, mended their broken pieces, and gave them a safe space to heal. But let me ask you this. Where were they when you needed someone? You were always their sanctuary, their emotional anchor. When the storms hit, they ran to you. But the moment the skies cleared, they vanished, leaving you drained and alone. They didn't see you as a partner in life. They saw you as a safety net, a reliable cushion to catch them every time they stumbled. And now that you've cut the rope, they're spiraling, regretting not the loss of you, but the loss of the comfort and security you provided. Here's the harsh truth they don't want you to realize. Their regret isn't about missing your essence. It's not about the beauty of your soul, the depth of your love, or the uniqueness of your presence. It's about them. It's about what they've lost. The convenience of having someone who would always pick up their broken pieces without question, someone who would carry their weight without complaint. But what about your weight, your broken pieces? Did they ever stop to consider your struggles, your needs? No, because the relationship was never about mutual care. It was about their survival. And now they're desperate because they can no longer lean on you, no longer bleed their insecurities into your strength. Here's what you must understand, chosen ones. Their regret without accountability is nothing but manipulation. They want you back, not because they've grown, not because they're ready to give as much as they take, but because they're sinking and they need someone to keep their head above water. But you are not a life raft. You are not a crutch for people who refuse to stand on their own. You are not responsible for carrying the weight of their insecurities, especially when they've never lifted a finger to carry yours. A one-sided relationship is not a relationship. It's an emotional transaction that leaves you empty while they walk away full. If they only show up when their life is in shambles and disappear when yours is, let them stay gone. Their chaos is not your responsibility. Let them figure out their mess on their own. Let them learn what it means to build strength from within. You don't owe anyone a second chance to drain you. If they truly value you, they'll come back as someone who adds to your life, someone who carries their weight and meets you halfway. Until then, their insecurities are not your problem, and their regret is not your invitation to reopen the door. Chosen ones, protect your energy. You're not their safety net. You're your own sanctuary, and you deserve people who build with you, not people who lean on you until you break. Keep your strength for those who respect it, and let the rest fall. Number 9. Your absence leaves them alone with the truth they've been running from. A mirror doesn't lie. It only reflects what's there, whether they're ready to see it or not. Chosen ones, when you walk away, you don't just leave a void, you leave a reckoning. Your absence is the spotlight that forces them to confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. While you were in their life, your presence acted like a shield, deflecting the harsh reality of their flaws, insecurities, and failures. You were their comfort zone, their distraction, their excuse not to grow. And now that you're gone, there's no one left to hide behind. The truth is, your energy made life easier for them. You provided the stability they couldn't create for themselves, the encouragement they didn't know how to give, and the support they were too weak to stand without. You were their crutch, and as long as they had you, they didn't have to face the cracks in their foundation. But now that you've removed yourself, all that's left is the cold, hard truth of who they really are. And it's not a pretty sight. Their regret isn't about missing you, the person. It's about missing the escape you gave them from their own shortcomings. They don't want to face the emptiness, the insecurities, or the chaos that's been lurking beneath the surface all along. But without you there to soften the blows, they have no choice. Your absence exposes the work they've avoided, the growth they've ignored, and the accountability they've refused to take. And now, they want to come back. They'll claim they miss you, that they've changed, that they can't live without you. But let's call it what it is: desperation. What they really miss is the comfort of not having to do the hard work of facing themselves. They miss the way your strength covered for their weaknesses, and your love filled the gaps in their character. Here's what you need to remember: it's not your responsibility to be their crutch. You are not a bandage for wounds they refuse to heal. Letting them back into your life doesn't help them, it enables them. It allows them to keep avoiding the discomfort that's necessary for growth. And growth only happens when someone is forced to sit with their discomfort, confront their reflection, and do the work. Sometimes, the best thing you can do for someone is to let them stay in the space of regret. Let them feel the weight of what they've lost and figure out how to carry it on their own. Your absence is their opportunity to step up, take accountability, and grow. But that journey belongs to them, not you. Don't let their regret manipulate you into reopening a door you've already outgrown. You've done the work to rise above, to reclaim your energy, and to move forward. Your life is for those who value and build with you, not those who take and drain. Let them face themselves while you focus on continuing to rise. And remember, your absence isn't just their regret, it's their lesson. Number 10. They assumed you'd stay forever, but you walked away and proved them wrong. Kindness misused becomes a lesson learned the hard way. Chosen ones, let's be real. People who take you for granted build a comfortable lie in their heads. They convince themselves that your loyalty, your kindness, and your forgiveness are endless resources they can drain without consequence. They thought you'd always pick up their calls, always show up when they needed you, and always brush off their disrespect with a smile. They mistook your grace for weakness, your patience for naivety. But they were wrong. When you walked away, you didn't just leave. You shattered their illusion. You forced them to confront the harsh truth they didn't want to face. Actions have consequences, and they'd pushed you too far. Your departure wasn't just an act of self-preservation. It was a statement, a declaration that you are not someone to be taken lightly, not someone who tolerates endless disrespect. They're sitting in their regret now, realizing too late that the door they assumed would always be open has been shut and locked. And here's the part they didn't see coming: your strength. When you chose to walk away, you proved that your loyalty wasn't a weakness. It was a privilege they squandered. This isn't about revenge or playing games. This isn't about teaching them a lesson out of spite. This is about showing the world and yourself that you value your own peace and respect above someone else's entitlement. You didn't walk away because you stopped caring. You walked away because you finally started caring enough about yourself. And now they regret it. But their regret isn't just about missing you as a person. It's about the shock of realizing they were wrong. Wrong to think you'd stay no matter how they treated you. Wrong to assume they could disrespect your boundaries without consequence. Wrong to think they could misuse your loyalty and still expect your unwavering presence. Here's the hard truth: their regret doesn't erase the past, and it doesn't undo the damage. It doesn't mean they've learned, and it doesn't mean you should give them another chance. Let their regret stay exactly where it belongs, with them. It's not your job to carry their guilt or heal their wounds. Walking away wasn't just an act of self-respect. It was a lesson they'll carry with them forever, and it's a lesson you can be proud of. You showed them that boundaries are not optional. You proved that your kindness isn't a weakness, but a strength, and one they should have cherished instead of exploited. So, don't let their regret pull you back into a cycle you've already broken free from. Their assumptions about you were wrong, but your decision to leave was right. Keep moving forward, chosen one. Let your absence speak louder than their empty apologies ever could. You've risen above, and that's the ultimate proof that you are, and always will be, untouchable. Number 11. Letting them back is betraying the person you've become. Returning to the things that broke you is like healing a wound, only to tear it open again with your own hands. Chosen ones, let's make this clear. Letting them back isn't just a misstep. It's a betrayal of everything you've fought so hard to become. Growth doesn't come easy. It's the reward for enduring pain, for learning the lessons life threw at you, and for finding the strength to rise above the chaos. You didn't go through all of that just to circle back to what you've outgrown. When they come back with apologies, regret, and promises to do better, it might stir something in you. After all, you once cared deeply for them. But remember this: the person they took for granted is no longer here. The version of you that tolerated disrespect, overlooked red flags, and gave second chances at the cost of your own peace is gone. You've evolved. And to let them back in is to insult the version of yourself that worked so hard to grow. Think about what it took to get here. The sleepless nights, the self-reflection, the moments when you had to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Every boundary you set, every time you said no, every tear you cried, it all contributed to the strong, unshakable person you've become today. Letting them back into your life risks undoing all of that progress. Let's be real, they're not returning out of love for who you are. They're returning because they miss the version of you that tolerated their behavior. They don't respect the boundaries you've set. They're looking for ways to bypass them. But here's the truth. People who truly value your growth will never ask you to compromise it. They'll celebrate the person you've become, not try to drag you back into a version of yourself that no longer serves you. Allowing them back into your life would be like reopening a book you've already finished, trying to rewrite chapters that were meant to stay closed. You've already learned what you needed to from that story. Turning the pages again won't change the ending. It'll just bring back the pain you worked so hard to leave behind. And what's worse, letting them back in sends a dangerous message. It tells them that your growth is negotiable, that a few regretful words can erase all the healing you've done. But your growth is not up for debate. It's sacred. It's your armor, your power, and your proof that you're no longer the person who put up with less than you deserved. Choosing to honor your growth means choosing yourself. It means protecting the person you've become and refusing to entertain relationships that threaten to drag you backward. It's not about anger or bitterness. It's about self-respect. You deserve relationships that align with your growth, not ones that undermine it. So let them regret losing you from a distance. Let their apologies fall on ears that no longer need their validation. The comfort of letting them back in might feel tempting, but it's a temporary fix with permanent consequences. The person you've become is worth far more than that. Protect your progress, protect your peace, and keep moving forward, leaving the past exactly where it belongs, behind you. Number 12. Your access is a gift they should have treasured. The rarest treasures are guarded, not handed out to those who've proven they don't deserve them. Chosen ones, your presence is not ordinary, it's exceptional. Your time, energy, and light are gifts that have the power to inspire, heal, and uplift. That's why people are drawn to you, gravitating toward the rare energy you exude. But let's be clear, not everyone deserves to share in that light. Your access is a privilege, not a birthright, and it's time to treat it as such. When someone who disrespected or underestimated you comes back with apologies and regret, they're hoping you'll forget the past and let them in again. But here's the hard truth. Their words alone are not enough. If you grant them access without accountability, you send the message that your boundaries can be crossed, your worth can be questioned, and your energy is up for grabs. That's not the story you're here to write. You were chosen for more. You weren't placed on this earth to be someone's afterthought, their fallback plan, or their quick fix. Your energy is sacred. It's not an open invitation for those who didn't respect it the first time around. Think of your time and presence as gold. Would you hand it over to someone who carelessly tossed it aside before? Of course not. Yet so often people assume that just because they feel regret, they're entitled to walk back into your life. But regret is not accountability, and their feelings are not your obligation. True respect is shown in actions, not apologies. Those who genuinely value you will never take you for granted in the first place. They won't wait for you to leave before realizing your worth. They'll honor your energy from the beginning, treating your access as the privilege it is. And for those who didn't, let them stay where they are, on the outside, watching. Their regret is not your cue to lower your standards. In fact, it's their lesson to learn. Access to you is earned through respect, care, and consistency, not guilt or manipulation. This isn't about being cruel or unforgiving. It's about protecting your peace and honoring your value. Letting someone back in after they've shown you who they are doesn't just diminish your worth, it sets a dangerous precedent. It teaches them that they can disrespect you, cross your boundaries, and still have a way back. That's not the energy you're here to entertain. By being selective about who you allow into your space, you uphold the truth of your worth. You remind the world, and yourself, that your energy is precious and your time is irreplaceable. Let their regret serve as proof that you're irreplaceable, but don't let it convince you to lower your guard. Your access is a privilege, and those who truly understand that will cherish it without needing a second chance. Protect your peace, guard your energy, and let their regret be their burden, not your invitation to reopen a door that was meant to stay closed. Number 13. Recognizing your worth is the ultimate power move. The moment you know your worth, you become untouchable by those who took you for granted. Chosen ones, let this sink in. You were never meant to be someone's fallback, someone's emotional crutch, or their convenient safety net. Your presence, your energy, and your time are rare treasures, and not everyone deserves to have access to them. The sooner you recognize this, the more powerful you become. When they regret losing you, it's not because they've suddenly become a better person or had some grand epiphany about their behavior. No, it's because they've come to the painful realization that what you brought into their lives is irreplaceable. They miss the stability you provided, the love you poured out, and the way you made their lives feel easier, brighter, and fuller. But here's the hard truth. Their regret has nothing to do with your worth. Your value is not tied to how much someone else misses you. Their regret doesn't define your worth, it reflects their loss, and you owe it to yourself to never mistake their sudden longing for growth or self-awareness. Because if they truly valued you, They would have shown it in their actions when they had you. This is where your power lies, in knowing that you don't need their validation or their apologies to move forward. You are not here to be their safety net when their world falls apart, nor are you a place for them to retreat to when they've run out of options. You are not their second chance. You are not their backup plan. You are the plan, and only those who can meet your energy and respect your boundaries deserve a place in your life. Walking away from people who undervalue you is not a weakness. It is one of the greatest acts of self-love and strength you can show. It takes courage to say, "I deserve better," and even more courage to walk away and stand by that decision. When you do this, you're not just closing a door on toxic behavior. You're opening a door to a future where you are surrounded by people who see your worth, respect your boundaries, and match your energy. Your access is a privilege, not a right. Let that be your mantra. Not everyone deserves to bask in your light or benefit from the love and support you so effortlessly give. Reserve your time and energy for those who align with your growth, who celebrate your journey, and who prove through their actions, not just their words, that they are worthy of standing beside you. So keep moving forward, chosen ones. Protect your peace. Hold your standards high. Refuse to lower yourself to accommodate those who didn't see your value when they had the chance. Their regret is not your burden to carry, it's their lesson to learn. Remember, you're not just someone they lost. You're the person who showed them what it truly means to be valued. And that is something they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives, whether they admit it or not. Stay strong, stay focused, and keep rising. You were chosen for more. In the end, chosen ones, remember this: your worth is non-negotiable, and their regret is the price they pay for not valuing you when they had the chance. You were never meant to be someone's second option or fallback plan. Keep walking forward, standing tall in your power, and let their regret serve as a lesson, not for you, but for them. If this resonated with your spirit, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop number 77 in the comments to claim your power. Don't forget to share this with others who need the reminder. You're chosen for greatness, and nothing can stop you.